Democrats put on notice by their own party. A new survey by a center-left group called Welcome found that 70% of voters think the Democrat Party is out of touch. It also found a majority of voters now think the party is too liberal. Let's bring in former New York State Senator David Carlucci and Rich Zeoli, host of The Rich Zeoli Show. All right, David, to you first. Has your party moved too far to the left?
Well, I think we've got a lot of energy, Big Tent, and this is exactly what we need. That energy is growing. You could see it in the New York City mayoral race.
Wait, I'm sorry. What is exactly what you need?
We need that direction, right? To harness the energy that is growing within the Democratic Party. You see that enthusiasm.
What direction?
To moderate the direction so that we can appeal to more voters.
Okay, so too far to the left, you agree?
Well, I think on some places they're going too far to the left.
Is your party out of touch?
I don't think so. I think it's right in line with what people want. And
Which
that's
is what?
To talk about affordability when transportation, talk about health care, actually making sure that people can afford the health care
That's going to be a tough case to make,
premiums.
considering we're finally off the 40-year high of inflation in this country. Affordability?
Well, talk to people. A million people have lost their jobs this year. Government workers have been furloughed, not knowing what's happening. SNAP benefits, 40 million people are losing
Democrats
those benefits.
are keeping the government shut down, okay? They say they're for the working man and the working woman, but now the government is shut down. Listen, this report can do all it wants, but try convincing this to AOC, Bernie Sanders, the squad, Mandami. These are the people running the Democrat Party today. What this report is saying is that people need to be more like Senator John Fetterman, Sandra. And what are they going to do to him? Primary him. The Democrat Party doesn't want this. They are the party of the college, white, educated liberals, and that's who they are right now. And the people that are running the show don't want what's in this report. This report says it. The party's crazy. The party's out of touch. You got to do a reset like they did with Clinton in the 90s. But the people running the party don't want to hear it, and the people that are running have to placate to the primary-based voters, who this report says are causing all the problems for the party. So you guys have a major problem.
The report says that we have amazing potential. That, yes, there are extremes in both parties. We recognize that. But how do you speak? Use the lexicon that Americans are using. And New York City is unique to every part of this country.
Okay.
We
So
have
let me get more.
there. How do we translate it to the rest of the
Let
nation?
me get more from Welcome up on the screen. Deciding to win. This is the name of the report. In it, it looks at the rise in Democrat lawmakers for radical bills. Okay, David, reparations studies, only 1% supported that back in 2013. Fast forward, 57% in 2024. Inmate voting rights has surged to 41% support, and assault weapons ban has doubled to 88%. Is this what the party stands for?
Well, assault weapons ban, yes, I think so. But a lot of these issues, we can just take it on the nuance of it. But in the details of it are very important in terms of how do you make sure you restore voting rights, all of those issues. But we could take the same thing on the right and talk about the extremism that's happening on the right. What this is doing is saying, how do we make sure that we speak to Americans and articulate that language? There's huge opportunities. There's huge opportunities. We need to make sure we're taking advantage of it.
You speak in a language that Americans don't speak. That's the problem, is that you cater to fringe groups and you're constantly worrying about culture issues. You had the mayor of Chicago yelling about illegal aliens the other day, the term, not the crimes they're committing, not the crimes in a city. That's why he's polling at 6%. You know, the reason why about a dozen Democrats in New Jersey have endorsed Jack Ciattarelli for governor, the Republican candidate for governor in New Jersey, is because they've said their party has moved too far to the left, Sandra, bottom line. So, you know, David's a nice guy, and he could try to say that there's momentum and there's energy, and he's right. But it's for socialist whack jobs.
No,
it's
I would
not for mainstream Democrats. That's the bottom line. Ben Mandami should not be. Mamdani should not be the nominee.
Well, what is the Republican doing? The Republican's doing absolutely nothing. Curtis Sliwa is on his way to having the worst performance of a Republican in New York City history. And so what does that say about the Republicans? It says there's no energy there.
Okay, so speaking
and this is why we need to get that energy.
Speaking of Sliwa and the New York City mayoral race, this is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez last night at a rally for the socialist candidate Mamdani. Listen.
But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City. We are not the outlandish ones, New York City. They want us to think we are crazy. We are sane.
She is standing in front of signs for a candidate who wants government-run grocery stores and free rent.
Well, look, the president of the United States,
tax the rich.
The president of the United States just cut close to a $20 billion project, a transportation project that would dramatically impact the quality of life of North New Jersey and New York City and the suburbs.
Schumer can reopen the government, and then you can get that project back. If Schumer reopens the government, that project goes back online.
Well,
but he's too scared of getting primaried by AOC because she runs the party. And Sandra, I'll just say one more thing. They were yelling tax the rich at that rally, and the New York State governor, your governor, who tries to pretend like she's a moderate, goes out and goes, I don't know what they were saying. I thought they were chanting "Go Bills." Go Bills in New York, Sandra?
That was
No, because it
There's like 2
shows
Bills
there
fans
is a
in
difference
the whole
in the
city.
Democratic
Oh,
Party.
boy.
It's not just the party of one person, like the Republicans.
quote-unquote mainstream
you
Democrats
have
are
an issue where you
terrified.
have the president that's talking about these social issues, right?
All right.
But what does he cut? An issue about transportation. That's a
Reopen the
$20
government, you get
billion
Coming back to the shutdown,
project.
David. You're coming back to
Reopen the
shutdown.
government.
Republicans.
I
The buck is
appreciate-
not
Get your
the
tunnel
president
back.
and the Congress, the speaker is all
I
Republican.
appreciate the spirited discussion. It is one we will certainly continue, and I appreciate your thoughts.
Look forward to
Thank
it.
you,
Both of
Sandra.
you. Thank you very much. All right, John?